You know, it's times like these that I always kind of enjoy because it's like just the silence and just being able to just really take in the moment, you know, and you know, it's everyone else, you know, right now is partying, drinking, or you know, doing whatever, and you know, here I am after work, after my shift, coming into the gym. It's the weekend, you know. It's and today's Friday, so you know, like I said, everyone else is you know living it up, doing whatever, and I don't know. I'm always trying to stay dedicated to this type of stuff because when a lot of people ask me, not a lot of people, when some people ask me why I work out, I mean, everyone has their reasons, you know. Everyone has their breaking moment or breaking point. Not necessarily everyone. But you know, there comes a time, you know, there comes a time where you're like, where you want to change. And for me, it was not necessarily just that. I've always, from such a young age, always wanted to see how much I could possibly become, you know, like my full potential. And I just really wanted to reach that, you know. It's not really an issue that, you know, just being alone. It's not really an issue. The thing is, unfortunately, the story of most people's lives are of unfulfilled potential. You know, a lot of people don't want to go that far. A lot of people don't want to embrace the pain that comes with doing things that are hard. And I don't know. I don't really necessarily see it as just doing the hard things or making the hard calls. In a sense, it's just reaching, no, surpassing my limits, or just outright removing them, you know, breaking them. And just getting to that full potential is just so, you know, it's just so driving. And I know a lot of people, especially like in my last video, people always like to call me boring or, you know, uninteresting. And that's fine because I get it, you know, I'm not doing things that they're doing. I'm not going out doing the things they have. Obviously, also because my situation is different right now. But like, even if I had the money and the time, I just don't really take great joy in such meaningless or just such just so vain things, you know. It's just there's a time when you know you could enjoy and take in the small things and go out and do things, you know, big and small, and but I just don't find any. I don't think I would find any pleasure in just drinking or doing drugs or, you know, sleeping with a bunch of people or, you know, me personally, what I find joy, what I find drive in is essentially doing the things that no one else is willing to do, making the hard calls, and just surpassing my limits every day. Because with me, it's, you know, it's in this situation, it's adapt or die. You know, you either can force your body to adapt, or you're just not gonna make it out of the situation. And that's just something that I've really been trying to really just get onto. You know, I'm kind of just like in this hole right now. You know, just in this lot, this empty lot. You know, and barely anyone's here. I kind of think of it like a hole because it's like I'm having to climb my way out. So I just feel like there's a lot of things that people might not understand, and that's fine. But the main thing I just wanted to share with you, I really wanted to share with you is that sometimes you you gotta do the things, even when it hurts. You gotta make the calls, even when you don't feel like it. Even when you're tired. Like this morning, I don't even think I had gotten 4 or 5 hours, and I might make another video on it, because there is a point, and you don't want to be stupid and destroy your body to the point where you can't recover. Here and there, missing a couple hours of sleep in order to sacrifice to, work harder or whatever. That's not really an issue. But there is a great line that you should take, not to, overdo certain things. But honestly, sometimes you have to be a little bit extreme. It's not always gonna be easy. It's not always gonna be, especially when you're on your own. It's kind of gotta watch your back. And yeah. It's sad though. Unfortunately, a lot of people, many people nowadays, is just, they don't want to do the things that I get it. They don't want to do the things that really just, are inconvenience, that really take up time, take up effort, energy. And a lot of people nowadays will half-ass things. And for example, in my work, I do package handling, and it's a long story. I'm not gonna get into the whole thing, but basically, some people will always see me come in and they see how hard I'm working, and they kind of just lay off. They feel like, well, whoa, this guy's here, so I don't have to do any work. It's unfortunate, and there comes a time, where you yourself as a person, just like I have to learn to say no. Learn to not help all the time, even if your intent is well. Some people will try to take advantage of that, and that's something that's not good for you. You need to learn not just to grow, but when to say no, when not to help, when not to go overboard, when not to do certain things. There's a time and place for everything, as it was said in the Bible. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's like, and I get it, in this very harsh world that we're in right now, especially in this time period. Like it almost seems pointless. Like why do you work so hard? Why do you go to the gym after? Why do you study for this? Why are you doing that and this? It's just really. It's just really getting to that potential, reaching that full potential. And I don't think many people get this, or I feel like a lot of them do. They just can't accept it. But yeah, as I said, there's gonna be that day, even if it's not that specific reason. There's gonna be a day, where you're just tired of it. You don't want this situation anymore. You want to change, and you want to do this and do that. And that's where you need to get the discipline. That's where you get to need the discipline, because motivation, man, it's great. The motivation is great. That thing just wears away, man, after a couple of days, and it's not sustainable. You have to become sustainable yourself. You have to be the sustainable, the one who sustains and makes the change, even when he doesn't feel like it. Because that's the whole thing about stability. That's the whole thing about stability. Yeah, man. I honestly don't really know what else to say, because it's just like, it's just something I wanted to share. And I just hope that, one day, if not today, I hope today, that you guys really take this as, and not really inspiration, but just as a wake-up call, It's like, yeah, I'll do this and I'll do this later. Even myself, I struggle with that. I'll say, yeah, I'll get to this, and I never do. Or I postpone it, I make excuses, oh, well, it's an inconvenience. Oh, I don't have time for this, really. Know your potential. And once you know and find your potential, you need to grab at it and surpass it. You need to climb out of this hole that you're in, so that way you can see the sunlight all around you and take in the things on the way there. Take in the small things on your way up the hill. Yeah. It is what it is. And I just hope you all have a good one. Alright.